I'm coming to you today from inside of a purple void, as you do. Guys, I'm like a plant. I just go where the light is. Okay, more short reviews. I am so close to being caught up. I can almost taste it. Goal for 2015. Don't get this behind on book reviews because this is ridiculous. Okay, yeah, I've got like 6 books to talk about, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. First up is The Neverending Story by Ende, translated by Ralph Manheim. I did not realize until I purchased my copy that this was a translated work, but it is. It was originally written in German. Is the book still popular in Germany? I know I have Germans watching. Someone should be able to tell me. Because here it seems like it's definitely gotten eclipsed by the film. I'm trying to do a plot summary, but I'm just having a really hard time coming up with one because it's basically a kid reads a book. Like, it is a magic book. He eventually becomes swept up in the fantastical world of the story. But yeah, a kid reads a book. I swear this is better than I'm making it sound. This one is weird because I did really like it, but I'm not sure that I can, like, actually actively recommend it to anybody because my fondness for it is so nostalgia-based. Like, this is exactly the kind of thing that I was reading when I was, like, 11. Like, so much so that I can't believe that I didn't read this when I was 11. This feels like exactly the kind of thing that I would have read, like, on a public school bus checked out from the library like 15 years ago. But I didn't. Like, I loved the movie when I was a kid, but I somehow never read the book. I don't know if I realized it was a book. Brief aside, while I was reading this, I looked up that scene from the movie with the wolf in the cave, and it is still so terrifying! I don't understand this! I'm an adult! That wolf is clearly a puppet! How is it still so scary? So I don't know, I suppose I would recommend this if you are like super into old school kids fantasy books, or if you want to compare it to the film adaptation, which is a really interesting comparison to make, actually. So, next up is Sunshine by McKinley. This is all about a girl named Ray, who is nicknamed Sunshine, as in Ray of Sunshine, jokes, who is kidnapped and then locked in a room with a vampire, and then adventure and romance ensue, because really what else would happen in that scenario? Alright, I'm about to describe this book in a way that's gonna make a lot of you want to check out, like, immediately, but I need you to stick with me, okay? Okay, are you ready? This is Twilight for grown-ups. What I mean by that is this is Twilight if all of the characters behaved sensibly, and also if Twilight wasn't terrible, sorry. Like, while I was reading this, I had to keep flipping back to the copyright page to look at the date that it was published, because this was published before Twilight, and I'm having a hard time dealing with that because it feels like a very direct response to Twilight. I feel really bad because it's a really good book on its own merits, but I don't know how to talk about it without comparing it to Twilight. Like, you know how Edward is all like, I'm a monster, Bella, but he's, you know, at the end of the day, just like a hot dude covered in body glitter who sometimes eats deer? The vampires in Sunshine are like genuinely weird and inhuman, and everything about the way that they're described, including the vampire love interest, is clearly meant to other them and to remind you that they are not human. And there's so much more romantic conflict because, like, while Bella and Edward waffled for all of 12 seconds about whether they should date or not, like, our romantic couple in this, like, they're both into each other, but they're also both so weirded out about it, which I like. Like, that makes it so much more believable to me. And I'm really into the fact that Ray's problems were, you know, otherworldly creatures and such, but also included things like bureaucracy and trying to get someone to cover her shift at work. Like, her life didn't just stop when vampires showed up into it, you know? Like, stuff still happened to her that was not vampire related. And I really liked this, guys. Like, I think it was really well done. Like, my thing with Twilight was never that I thought it was irredeemably terrible. It's that I found it frustrating because I thought it was a really interesting concept that was just executed very poorly. So if you are in the same camp, I think you will be really into this. I think it also works if you haven't read Twilight. Like, it's just generally good, and like the world building is very compelling and it's very atmospheric. The only negatives for me really were that it dragged in the middle a little bit, and like, I kind of wish it was a series, which is such a weird feeling. Normally it's the other way around where I'm like, you could have told this story in one book, but for some reason it's 3. Why did you do that? But no, I really wish there were more of this. Like, I think it would make a really interesting TV show, actually. Next, we have The Magician's Land by Lev Grossman. This is the third and final book in the Magician series, which is a series that I love with my entire being. And that's all I'm going to do in the way of a summary, so as not to spoil it for people who have not read the previous 2 books. If you want to know, you can look at Goodreads or something. It feels like such a cop-out to be like, I can't talk about this, I have too many feelings. But I can't talk about this, I have too many feelings. And it's not even like I think I'm going to be too subjective about it. Like, it just feels really personal right now. This series has been very important to me, and it just feels really raw right now, and I feel like talking about it is like handing over a little tiny piece of myself to the internet and being like, hey internet, please don't crush this delicate thing. Like, even this right now is kind of like awful and too much. Like, I kind of just want to be like, what? No, I don't have feelings. Feelings are for nerds. So maybe at some point I will make a video about like this series as a whole and how I feel about it and what it means to me, but right now I just kind of want to sit with it. So for now I will just say it is really good and it is a very satisfying ending to the series. Next up is Everyone Hanging Out Without Me and Other Concerns by Mindy Kaling. This is a non-linear memoir slash collection of essays by Mindy Kaling, who was a writer for the American version of The Office and now has her own sitcom. And I liked it a lot. I think that Mindy Kaling has a very compelling authorial voice. Like, I think if you like her on Twitter, you will probably like this as well. I was kind of hoping for more work-related stuff, which I hate. I hate that I'm saying this a little bit because it makes it sound like I'm like, oh god, Mindy, I don't want to know about your life. But no, it's not that at all. Like, the life stuff is really interesting too, but like, for me, I am just the kind of person who like wants to sit and listen to people with cool jobs talk about their cool jobs like all day. And also I think the work essays are some of the strongest ones in the collection. Like, for my money, the best thing in this book is the story of how she broke into show business by writing and starring in an off-Broadway play with her also female best friend about Matt Damon and Ben Affleck during the writing of Good Will Hunting. Like, that story is incredible. She has a second book coming out in April of next year. Thank you to Christy from One Book More for alerting me to this in the comment section of the video where I hauled this. And I am sure I will end up picking that up as well. Then we have Saga Volume 1 by Brian K. Vaughan with art by Fiona Staples. This is all about a couple from 2 different sides of an interplanetary war and them trying to take their newborn baby and get the heck out of Dodge and the complications that ensue. Okay, good stuff first, because I really liked this, but I am also about to complain about it, like, a lot. So this is so weird, like, in the best way. Like, one of the biggest things that ever bothers me about alien-based sci-fi is when people just, like, don't push it enough with the weirdness and, like, making it different from people and Earth. These aliens aren't like us at all. They have small forehead ridges. Totally different. How will our species ever get along? And that is not an issue here, and I appreciate it. I also think that Fiona Staples' artwork is really great. And also I'm really psyched that we are getting more ladies on the art side of comics. I think that that is a very big and important step toward getting female characters in comics who are drawn like actual human people and not like sex pretzels. God, sometimes I'm reading a comic and I'm just like, sir, spines do not bend that way. No. Now on to the complaint, which is that I hate the Will's storyline. I hate it so much. Like, the thing that I really like about the main plotline of Saga is that it's a story that we don't really get in comics a lot, or in most mediums a lot, and the Will's storyline is something that we have seen a million times before. He's a bounty hunter, he's grizzled, he has so much man pain, he befriends a child prostitute, a much more interesting female character gets killed off to further his story. Ugh. I mean, I assume this is going somewhere, but like right now I just find it very tedious. I mean, I hope it's going somewhere. I might be being really optimistic about this. But yeah, even with that, I still really liked this a lot, and I'm definitely gonna keep reading it. And last we have Soulless by Gail Carriger. Alexa Tarabody is a Victorian lady who's having a hard time getting a leg up socially, partly because she has no soul, but mostly because she's a spinster and her father was Italian. Her soullessness does have a benefit, which is that it cancels out the powers of supernatural creatures, which leads to her accidentally killing a vampire at a party, which begins a chain of events that cannot be stopped. You can't summarize this book without starting to sound like terrible jacket copy. And oh man, I kind of loved this. Like, it's so trashy, but in the best way. Like, I love it in kind of the same way that I loved the Sookie Stackhouse novels. Like, this feels sort of like that, but slightly more self-aware, I think. This would also be a great TV show, by the by. Has someone optioned this? Someone should option this. I was having trouble getting into it at the beginning because the writing's not super great. But once the plot really started to get going, like, I was in. It is amazing how quickly I can go from to, is she gonna bang this werewolf or what? Apparently all you have to do to get me invested in your novel is to create the possibility that someone might bang a werewolf. That's it. I'm super easy. So yeah, I recommend this a lot. If you're looking for something literary, this is obviously not gonna work for you, but like, it's very great dumb fun. Okay, I think that is everything. If you have read any of these, I would love to know what you thought in the comments below, and I will see you soon. Bye.